6 o'clock, please rise for the pledge.
All right.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Today is Monday, October 20th. This is our regular meeting. And first up, we need a motion to approve the minutes for the October 6th meeting.
A motion.
All those in favor?
All right.
Anyone opposed?
Warrant number 10. Warrant number 10. General, $108,600.87. $28,702.23 in water, nothing in sewer, totaling $137,303.10. Payroll number 10, $106,258.70. Capital projects, South End water sewer improvements, $93,218.95. Creighton Manning, $397.15, totaling $93,612.90.
I'll make a motion to accept the vouchers.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
We have one transfer. It's $17,000 from transportation.
1,700.
1,700. What did I say?
You added one extra zero.
That's all right. $1,700 from transportation to miscellaneous, and these were put into the wrong expenditure line.
I'll motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Any opposed?
Lisa Newman has completed her record of activities. Need a motion to approve me to post it for 30 days for standard work day.
I'll motion.
I'll second. I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Thank you. Does everybody have a chance to look at the after hours Dropbox and the credit card policy?
Yeah,
I need a motion to approve those.
I will make a motion to approve the following policies regarding the after hours Dropbox and the credit card policy. I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And Don, please use the one in the board folder, because those are the ones.
That's the one that already changed.
Perfect. Beautiful.
30.
Look at that. We're right in sync.
I'm gonna have Ruben come in. Ruben?
So let me set up.
Yeah,
Where we at?
set up this one, let him know he's on.
Yep. So, we've been talking about, the agreement between the town of Colony, Loudonville Sewer Customer District, which is 1,094 households that send their wastewater down Menand Road, and it intercepts at the Daughters of Charity at 9698 Menand Road via a meter, and then comes down through into Menands. That agreement was set up in 1970 and expired in 2010. The rate per household charged to town of Colony was $4 per household. There was never any increase in that amount in the agreement over the 40 years. So for, say, yeah, 40, 50 years.
Yeah, 50.
Yeah, so the village should have renegotiated that agreement back in 2010. It didn't. So, Labella and I have been looking into this for the last, I think, 3 years. Even before I was mayor, we were trying to renegotiate this, look into exactly what the cost of the service was. And so we came up with a reasonable solution and presented it to the town of Colony as to what $4 today or 1970 would be in 2025. The answer to that question was $32.10. So we wrote to the town of Colony in September of 2024 and said that the rate per household will be adjusting to $32.10 from $4 because the agreement has expired. They sent back a letter that basically said, forget about it, that they're already within they've already made their adjustments for 2025 season, and that their rates are set, and so they won't, no way. As a compromise, we offered to say, well, let's set the rate for this period and this period alone at $8, doubling as we work towards an actual rate that makes sense and covers the village's expense. Mary Jane prepared a bill to the town of Colony showing $8 per household instead of $4 per household. Town of Colony sends us a check for the $4 a household, even though we said no. So we wrote them a letter, or Mary Jane wrote them a letter that basically said, your check is insufficient. We're sending the check back to you, that the bill is still not paid. And so we've been sort of in this limbo as we figure out exactly how we are going to proceed, if we have to proceed legally. Mary Jane has sent them also a letter saying that the bill still is outstanding, that there's interest in penalty, there's a penalty, there's a 1% per month, that they have until such and such a date to pay the bill. Otherwise, we're going to continue to accrue a 1% per month, penalty. They wrote back that they insist that the bill was paid, even though it was paid short. And so therefore we have no right to charge them penalties, and that basically that we had no right to change the per household fee. So anyway, we are, Tim and I on, when was it? Wednesday. The town of Colony had a public hearing that basically was poorly advertised. For 88,000 residents, there were 5 people in attendance, Tim and myself included. And basically the town of Colony is changing the structure that they bill their own customers from billing a flat rate based on your house value for sewer services on your tax bill to similar to what we do, which is put the sewer charges on the water bill with, to show water is this, sewer is this. So you get 2 bills, semi-annual bills, and so they're leaning to that. And they also voted to set their budget for the 2026 year. Ruben and I have been working on, what an appropriate rate would be for 2026. And I'll let Ruben take over from here, and then I'll finish the story as to, kind of. So Ruben is a senior engineer for our Labella team.
Great. Thanks, Mayor. As it's stated very well what's been going on for the last year. What we are doing in parallel to this is we're working on a more robust study that will take the town of Colony's share based on the number of homes, based on the pipe, the length of pipe, and what the town's contribution is towards the operation and maintenance of their share of the share of pipe that the town of Colony discharge goes through. This is one of 3 different shares that Colony has. One is a payment directly to the county. I believe it goes directly to the county. Correct me if I'm wrong, if it goes through the village, but they make a payment to the county, just like the village makes a payment to the county for the amount of, for the representative portion of what gets treated at the plant. This is specifically with regard to the operation and maintenance budget that the village has to maintain your infrastructure within the street, within the manholes, within the pipes, etc. So we're working on, as I said, a more robust calculation of what that share would be. But in the interim, to be able to put the town, to give them an idea of what we're looking at, we took the $4 that's in the 1970 agreement. We paraphrased the exact agreement as it was done in 1970, and we increased the number based on a consumer price index between March of 1970 and March of 2025. And that results in a rate of $33.49 there's a very lengthy calculation that goes along with it with regard to each family unit, or in the case of other flows, it would be $33.49 per calculated 400 gallons of flow from other units. So that's the that's the way we came up with the number. This would be a stopgap for 2026. So it allows the town and the village to have the same number that you're working with as we work through what we hope will be the final negotiated number that will go into an updated sewer use agreement that will then also have a clause in it with regard to inflation and escalation so that you're not stuck with a number for decades, which has been the case since 1970 with, again, your $4.
And Ruben, we've been talking about, as we've been doing those looking into those numbers, can you share with the board kind of the ranges of where you think that this might pan out?
Our expectation is the 3349 that we're proposing right now for 2026 is actually less than what it will end up being when we get through all of the calculations. Compared to other communities, that number can range from 30s, 50s, $90. It's different per community, but I certainly believe it will be more when it's done. That will again take your overall operational budget, take the amount of pipe that is common, and Colony has what I would call a decreasing contribution as the flow works its way down from the town line down Menand Road into Broadway. The further it gets into Menands, the smaller their share is. So, and that's what we're working through is on each kind of length of pipe, calculating what their share would be toward that overall operational budget that that the village is expending to maintain.
Sorry. Sorry to interrupt, sorry.
You go ahead.
Could I jump in here for a second?
No, hold on one second. Could that also include the maintenance costs? Are you just talking flow? Are you talking their share of maintenance cost on the length of pipe all the way down? Because their use of the pipe, and there should be a contribution towards any maintenance that might need to be done down the line as well.
Yes,
right?
the length of pipe will be part of the calculation. And as I said, they have a diminishing contribution as their flow gets deeper and deeper into the village. But that's part of what the calculation is going to be, is how much flow as it enters the village, they're at anywhere from 75 to 100% of the flow. And then as it gets closer and closer to the plant, they're a lesser contribution. So we're calculating their flow, their contribution, prorating it based on the length of pipe. And we're again breaking that length of pipe into sections as village flow increases. Colony gets a lesser and lesser share of that, but we're doing it so we can weight it so that there's one single number that they would be obligated to.
But at the same time, they have literally almost the same number of users as we have in the entire village. Our only exceptions, as Brian has pointed out to me, are our increased flow as a result of Morgan Linen and the milk plant and
Big building
and Riverview and a couple of large scale users that theirs are entirely residential. So it's just a matter of scale on a handful of users at our end.
Yes, and it's a combination of both. It's flow to flow and it's linear feet of pipe to linear feet of pipe. So that those are both, it's a compounded, it's part of why it's taking us longer than I had originally envisioned, because of this is really going to have to, it's going to be scrutinized by many people. So we're crossing every T and dotting every I to make sure that this is justifiable.
Thank you.
Steve, you want to hop in?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Let me express, Brian's well aware of my concern with this calculation, because I've been dealing with the town attorney's office on this very calculation. Ruben, you said that the rate that you've arrived at is based upon a calculation of the CPI from 1970 up until the present date, based on the rate that was in the 1970 contract. That got pushed back at me when we presented that to the town, and for good reason. The initial contract, if I remember correctly, was 25 years. Is that right?
40.
40 years. Okay, sorry. So that would have taken us up through
2010.
2010. The contract, none of us were around when this was written or agreed to, but the contract does not provide for any escalation clauses whatsoever. So the contract provided that for 40 years, whatever the rate was in the contract, the rate would that rate would remain from 1970 until 2010. The town then said, okay, fine, if you want to use CPI, we will factor in CPI from 2010 up until 2025. Their calculation, I haven't checked this, but their calculation for that time period would increase, and I'm going to give you round numbers, would increase the cost from roughly $4 per household to roughly $6 per household. So going back to the town and submitting a bill to them based on a calculation that includes an CPI calculated over the 40-year period of the contract is going to be met with the same response that we have currently. What I've said to the mayor, and this has been going on for a couple of months now, is we need Labella to come up with the CPI calculation just does not work. It does not work because of the language of the contract. I have said that we need Labella to come up with a calculation based on objective measures to arrive at and maybe the ultimate number is in the $60 to $70 per household range, and that's great. But this is like, how many brick walls do we need to run into until we decide that we don't want to run into the brick wall again? We need an objective calculation of what the cost would be from the increased cost, what the cost is today for the village of Menands to have the town of Colony to have access to that line for access and for maintenance. And we need to present that to them. But to use the CPI number and calculate it from 1970, it's going to be a non-starter.
Abandon that as the justification. And I think that the better approach is to take the fact that Colony's flow is roughly 26, let's just round it to 25% of the village's total flow. And without dissecting each section and the costs associated with, they own 99% of the flow at the Daughters of Charity, right? Then they hit, say, Lions and it's 98%, and then they hit, Molly's House and it's 96%, and then you know what I mean, and on down to Broadway where it's still 95% of that flow. I mean, there's 1,100 Colony households, and there's 100 Menands households that tie into that line at the interceptor of Broadway. So so you know what I mean. So I think the better approach would be to say that our sewer budget expenses is $250,000 a year. They're 26% of the flow of the cost of running that system. So 26% of 250,000 in expenses is roughly $50,000. So again, I mean,
but at the same time, though, how much are they charging their users?
well,
They're
that's
charging users on that line
that's correct. I
that
mean,
aren't on their, basically, so they're charging how much per customer?
well, my
on
mother
theirs?
pays $400 for access to
And
our system.
So those users are paying 400 approximately per household, and we're getting $4 of that.
So again, I mean, I think Ruben and I have spoken, the actual number may pan out to be between $50, $60 per household that it actually costs the village. And this is why I went and I testified to the board that we are subsidizing their ratepayers. We are subsidizing them. that they're making, if the average sewer bill is $400 times 1,100 people, that's $440,000, and they're paying us $4,400 a year for access to our system. It's ridiculous. So that's where we came up with, what is the medium between between $4 and say $60. And that's kind of how I think we get to the midpoint of $30 as a starting point, and justify that they're 26% of our system. So we should charge them 26% of whatever the sewer charges are. Maybe that's a better way to figure out what the cost to them should be.
Yeah, my point is, we need a different calculation than just going with the CPI, because we've gone down that road, and it
Yeah.
and it
And
goes
again,
nowhere. And I understand their position on that. There were no
Right.
escalator clauses in the contract for 40 years.
I get it.
Poorly written contract for the village,
poorly written
but we're stuck with it.
So, at the end of the day, I believe that it's a service that we're providing, and the rate is the rate. I mean, you can't go to National Grid and tell them that I'm just not paying what you want to charge, or anybody else. I mean, and so I guess the problem we have right now is the same we had last year, is we're up against the fact that they voted on their budget. And my purpose for testifying in front of the board was to set the expectation that they're going to, in March, pay more than $4 per household. And the number that we picked was $33.49 as a negotiated rate while we solve the actual problem and get into an actual long-term contract that everybody can live with. So,
Ruben, how long would it take to make this calculation?
I'm expecting we will have numbers by the end of this month of what the longer term would be. It still would need to be negotiated as part of the agreement, but I think we will certainly have the number that we would be recommending.
Yeah. So my suggestion is that, okay, we have, end of this month is, 11 days from now. My suggestion would be, and the board can do what they want with this, but we have approached the town with the CPI method, and we got that thrown back in our face, which I understand. So since we are basing our rate on a calculation, I think we wait for the calculation to come in and then present that to the town, as opposed to piecemealing it right now. And if that calculation comes in at $60 per household, and if we want to say, hey, Town of Colony, we understand you've already passed your budget, you've already baked these numbers in, we're willing for this year to do it at X, whatever that number happens to be.
right.
But next year, for budgeting purposes, this is where we're going to need to be.
Right, and that was the reason. I mean, as Tim said before the meeting started, the postcards for notifying the residents of the meeting where they're going to discuss the budget actually arrived 3 days after the meeting. And that's why of 88,000 residents at the Town of Colony meeting, there were 5 of us.
Sure.
I mean, it was really ridiculous. So I was told by a member who's running for town board that the meeting was, did you know? And I said no. And even though I had holes in my mouth from my surgery on Tuesday, I was there on Wednesday trying to make it through my presentation that showed, hey, you need to renegotiate these numbers, and that when you're on notice that it will not be $4, it will not be $8, it will be something more substantial. And that's why I said to them the $33.49 that we just quick and dirty gave them a number. So if Ruben's calculation ends up showing that the real rate should be between $50 and $60, and we only charge them $33.49 for this particular year, then so be it. But there was no way that and my point to them was that we could subsidize their ratepayers when they're making so much and paying us so little. So that was the point of my, of my appearance before the board.
And if I might add, it was also kind of shocking because I asked the board if any of them knew outside of the supervisor and the town attorney knew about this matter after a year of back and forth between them, and not one of them knew about it. They had not been informed of this matter.
In fact, the deputy supervisor, I saw him 2 days later, Rick Field, at a different event, and he told me that none of them were aware of this ongoing battle and the extent of the details of it. And he said that he and his board members had talked about trying to figure out what was going on and how to resolve it, because he completely understood.
Yeah, I learned of that today. So my recommendation, I've spoken with the mayor about this, is that for all future correspondence should probably be, if not, in addition to letter, it should be via email, and it should be addressed to everybody on the board as well, so that they're fully advised as to what's going on. So my suggestion is, before we throw a number out as a quote unquote compromise, is that we let Ruben do what Ruben needs to do, and come back to us with a number with, an objective finding and a calculation that we can present to the town.
And so we can vote on that and put that on the agenda for the November 3rd meeting to basically to set the rate for the 2026 sewer year for Town Colony.
Sure. Yep.
So we're going to table this matter
Yeah,
in this resolution.
yeah.
Yeah, as long as we're going to have something in the next 2 weeks or before the next meeting, I think that's the prudent thing to do.
And as I said, that will be our recommendation of what the number is going to be. We'll have all the calculations and backup behind it. Whether that is going to be scrutinized and challenged by the town, I don't know, but at least you'll have a number that you can stand behind.
Yeah, rest assured, it's going to be scrutinized and challenged by the town. It will be, but that, once you do your job, we'll do ours.
Right.
On that front.
Well, they're raising the rates for their payers, so.
They are, yes. And,
That's what they voted on.
and even after I basically said that we are charging them at least $33.49, they went ahead without a single comment, question. They approved the budget and the rates for their ratepayers for 2026. So. Okay, so that's tabled. Don, what's next?
The only thing we have two things. I'll do mine real quick. I need the board to form a committee to go over the employee handbook, because it's been good 10 years since it's been updated. So I need 2 board members from it to volunteer to be on that committee.
I'm good with that. Is that, haven't we been updating this as we've been,
We've done
or these are just the policies?
but there's some things in there, like there's a problem with vacation. The way that it's worded 2 different ways, and it depends on who reads it, how you interpret it. So I just want to make sure that everything.
So do you have like a copy of it with notations of where the issues are or anything of that nature?
I want to go line by line. It's only 20 pages, 30 pages.
Yeah, yeah.
Not gonna take.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I just want to get, just so that, like I said, it's done. Because we've been doing all the policies, but we haven't done the handbook, and there's some
Okay.
things in there.
Yes, especially, I think it needs just a little bit
And
of
there's maybe
beefing up.
things in there that should be there or shouldn't be there, there's. Because when we originally did it, this last time it was done, Paychex has a HR component, and they gave us all suggestions and we all approved it. But I think there's some things in there that don't need to be in there, and things,
Yeah, maybe AccuData can help us with something. I don't know.
if not.
Okay, so I'm sorry. So who?
I'm doing the one at my other place.
You are?
So,
Okay.
yeah,
Thank you.
I'm okay with that. I love a handbook and a bylaw.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Thank you. You want to have Ryan's?
Yeah, so we had a relatively light meeting, and we received an ADA grant for for looking at some improvements to this building. And, from, who was that from? Community Block Grant, was that one?
No, that was.
Yeah.
Was that community block grant? It was a CDP.
Anyway,
What, no, it was part of the CDP.
CDRPC.
Yeah, whatever that
Okay.
is. Yeah.
So, Labella and Ryan Carroll have been working on this and trying to figure out, what do we do? How do we do it? What does it look like? And so we've got some initial concepts to talk about, and I'll let Ryan take it away.
Thanks, Mayor. Hi, guys. My name is Ryan Carroll. For those who don't know me, I've been with Labella for about just over 2 years. I work with Ruben in the municipal engineering and in the land development piece. So I just got a couple options of what we're thinking to really develop 250 Broadway. And let's see, entire screen here. So this is what the building currently looks like that you guys are in right now. As you can tell, it's not the most ADA friendly for people to access it. You got a pretty steep grade coming up into the building, into the police station here. Couple of my coworkers and I have been working on a couple different layouts, and we think that this kind of version works the most. So I'll show you in plan view first. This is kind of like you're looking down on the site. So what this does is shifts the driveway entrance to be more in line with the edge of the building, and allows it for the site to be level and add a little bit more ADA accessible parking. So if you follow my cursor here, these arrows are not in the correct way, but you'll pull in on the right-hand side. You've got plenty of parking along the police station entrance with a 5-foot wide sidewalk. On this side here, alongside the retaining wall, we're thinking of building a brand new retaining wall with handrails that allow it to be ADA accessible from anyone from Broadway to be able to access it. And we have a quick 3D rendering here of what that looks like. As you can see, they've got the full railing on the left side to protect the curbs, and you've got parking in front. And then we would need to restructure the police parking a little bit there, but essentially this would allow for easier access into the building. I've also got another screenshot here. I'll drag this one over, and this is just a different angle showing the new retaining wall coming alongside here for protection and everything else. That is what the mayor and I have talked about as far as upgrading the site, just doing this front portion here first. And I'll open it up for questions or comments.
So, and this is obviously in conjunction with some of the work we've done in the back of the building to create some spaces for the police to park their personal vehicles, so they're out of the front. So those front spaces are then more apt to be used by the public, and including anyone handicapped that needs the current handicap space that we have. The one is actually not even ADA compliant because of the grade. So this surely solves that problem, and basically so that Brian, can you go? Yes. So the retaining wall that is in front of the flagpole is in really poor condition anyway. It's literally falling apart, so it is going to need some maintenance now anyway. So basically what we're trying to do is to take all of anyone who needs a handicap is the ramp lines them up with the door. That eventually we're hoping to apply for additional ADA compliance funds to get a low energy, handicap door where there's a push button and the door swings open, because that door system is on its last legs. I think it's held together by some screws in some areas. So, so anyway, so that's kind of what the first rendering of this is. And then we're gonna pare back on the right side, use some of the hill that the village owns to be able to put police vehicles and so on. So essentially the goal was to try and reuse every square inch of the site that we have here and maximize its utility, as we're trying to, figure out what the next version of, of improvements is. So we wanted to focus on this piece before we went and did some grading changes to the other side on the fire side, along Brookside, which also is, kind of like a phase 2 of some of what we've been talking about for improvements for 250 Broadway. So if the board members have any questions, thoughts, or comments, or
Can you go back to the picture with the overview of the parking?
Yes, yes, I can.
Is 2 the minimum amount of handicap spaces that we're required to have?
yeah, so
With the
that,
we're holding the senior citizen meetings here, should
That was
we
my
be
thought.
having more? And
So,
also elections, like if this is the polling place and the people who come to work it are taking handicap spaces, how open are the actual handicap
that, I'm
spaces
gonna
for the
address
other
that with,
people?
that's one of the things I thought about. But the other thing we can do is like, when seniors is here,
Uh-huh,
the police don't park in front of the building at all. They park over in the parking lot, so that frees up, even though they're not handicap accessible, every one of those spots in the front of the building
Mhm.
are for the
seniors. That's mighty nice of them.
yeah, so all of the spaces will technically be ADA compliant.
Right, they just,
They just aren't designated as handicapped.
okay,
Okay, so, and that's really the goal here, is to make, and again, to remove the police from taking those spaces makes them eligible, able for anyone who may not necessarily be in a wheelchair and need a double space, for like a ramp or something to get a wheelchair out. They're still all ADA compliant. And then, again, long term, the goal is to fix the grade of all of the spaces on the Brookside corner there.
Uh-huh.
Fix the grade there so that those are all, that whole section is down to grade, so that anyone who's has any mobility issue, they can at least get from there to the ADA ramp.
Well, that's a haul, because you have to go all the
I
way
know,
down
it's-
and back around.
Yeah, it's
That was gonna be my next question.
Yeah.
Is there a way to build on the firehouse side and that corner there, another ramp that went down?
The problem is it's not long, Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not long enough.
yeah,
Because it's
the
gotta
amount
count
of
some these
the
feet.
rise, like it was too, that's what we tried, was to create the ramp basically at the edge of Broadway near the flagpole and make the ramp go up right straight. And it was just, the grade was not compliant with ADA. So it had to have 2 legs instead of just 1.
Yeah, we tried a couple switchback options, and I think you're gonna get more bang for your buck on this because it's less railings and you have a little bit more of a gradual appearance here. The other option with the switchbacks involved a lot of concrete work, where this is pretty much a straight shot to your entrance here. This allows for more of a green space in the front here, as I've shown, where we initially, the stone monument can stay where it is. We can do planters here, and really, landscape the area instead of having this big concrete wall stairs here for the front of the appearance of the building.
If they're all gonna be ADA compliant, why not just make them handicap parking?
We only provide it, so with the amount that's required by ADA code, we only put the 2 here because that's required by code. We could definitely try to work it out to make it more ADA compliant. And we can place that if that's up to you guys. We can absolutely do that, but 2 was the minimum by code.
But the other thing too is that when it's not used for that, it is still a police department, so people are going in.
It wasn't all of them.
No,
but
no, no, you
like-
could do 50/50 or.
Do they all have to, if we had more handicap parking, do they all need to be van accessible? Or do we only have to have two that are van accessible and we could have more that were not?
I would need to double check the code. I don't believe they all need to be van accessible. There's a minimum for what needs to be van accessible. I believe with the amount here shown as 7 is actually it's for the full site. So I think that's 9 there. Depends on how many spots we can ultimately get with police parking as well. Once we get that area kind of tightened up. But as the mayor mentioned earlier, we were really focusing just on this front half of the parking area. And I know the village has been doing some work behind 250 as well that we're trying to incorporate into. So
Yeah, I mean, for instance, what we could do as a compromise would be to say, we could, for senior day,
Well,
for
I'm just
instance.
wondering if like 2 of them, they don't have to be van accessible, right? Like if 2 more could just be handicap spots, and that would leave what, 3?
Yeah, or for instance, just like they do for the elections, like when the entire section they post is handicapped parking only.
Temporary.
Temporary.
Temporary
Yeah.
handicap.
For like senior day, they could
Yeah.
post that those all there are handicapped.
I think is sometimes
you could,
push fries on Friday, like when there's major things that happen here.
Sure.
Then is it getting into being a lot of work to get those signs out and up, where if we had 2 more spots.
Yeah, I don't think it would be that bad. I
Okay.
mean, I mean, they don't have to,
DPW loves putting out signs.
yeah, they don't have to do the once a week court thing. So I guess,
The plan itself or the general sketch, that's phase 1 is the parking lot. Phase 2 is better entrance door, right? Like this,
yeah,
at
so,
first it will be
correct.
parking,
Yeah.
but it will not be the entrance.
Correct. Well, we may be able to, we're working on trying to get funding. Don and I were talking today about a way that we might be able to get a new door paid for through the climate smart funds that we
Okay.
have. The question I don't know is if we could sort of upgrade it to be the low energy push button door in conjunction with getting the door paid for because it's better insulated and double pane glass and all that Energy
Mhm.
Star stuff.
Okay.
So that was what Don and I were talking about today, is trying to figure out how we can make it work and get it paid for 100% by, grant funds. So,
And I guess my other question is, so the rail looks like it comes right up alongside the stairs, right? If you're coming up from like the firehouse side, like that black line is the
Yes.
rail that
Right,
goes all
can
the
you
way
go
up.
back to the other picture?
So as they start working on that, I don't really know. I know the condition of the stairs isn't great, but like, is that all just like gonna crumble when they start to install this part of it? Or,
so the rock wall,
yeah,
that, the
with
flag,
the stairs.
So
I
wait.
don't know, like, you go up those stairs
So
right there. Yeah,
that-
okay.
go back to the original, Ryan.
the the first one.
Okay,
Yeah, sorry,
yeah,
they're not removing a
Correct.
brick to put a rail.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, the stairs are remaining. Yeah.
but the wall with Diane's flowers on it, that slate or whatever,
The rock.
the rock,
Fieldstone.
fieldstone, that wall goes away. And obviously, that
It's in rough shape anyway.
that
Imagine where the mulch is now is where the ramp.
that's correct.
Where the
Absolutely.
wooden beams
That's
are.
exactly
they're poles.
that's exactly that.
So it'll be the same.
Yeah, no, I
exact
was just
format.
worried they were gonna start touching those
They-
bricks and that whole thing. was-
They could actually move,
It's gonna fall.
it looks like they could actually move
Yeah,
out
they're
into
gonna
the
put in.
lot a little further.
Say it again.
The bricks are gonna fall before anybody touches it
Yeah.
on the stairs.
On the
The
stairs.
stairs are not in very good shape either.
No.
Well, they got tightened up, so that it's a lot better than it
Some
was.
cement in there,
Yeah,
some tack.
yeah. Devcode did all that pointing, so I mean that's a lot better than it was.
No, that was just my concern. I thought that brick wall on that side was gonna become a rail, and I was worried if you started to touch that.
I
it was
also
all
have to
just
check
gonna-
with Kevin, because I think, if I remember right, and I might be wrong, but the top bricks that are on the front on Broadway, they're from the Erie Canal.
Yeah, so what I talked with Mike and I mentioned that to Ryan as well, is we're gonna try and repurpose those.
The perfect thing for it. But we'll talk about it. My flagpole.
I was
Oh,
actually,
yeah, okay.
There you go.
Hey, see, Ryan, you help me design a flagpole thing with, we're gonna sell rocks and bricks.
Sure.
Okay. Thanks, Ryan. We're gonna keep working on it.
Okay. Any other questions I can answer?
Do we have any of the property towards Nikon and that green space that we could go into?
That we already did.
So we did a little bit, and I've been trying to go all the way right to the edge, but after talking with Ryan about how it lines, so they're gonna shave a little bit of it, towards where the Macaulay tree used to be.
Yeah.
Okay, but not all of it.
Like,
That's
yeah,
it, see?
Mike
I know,
Mike
but
McCullough.
I always call it share.
So some of that property is ours,
Yeah,
definitely. Okay.
yes.
Yes.
So we're taking
Yes.
some of that, but not all of it. And the reason is it's got it lined up. Otherwise, I'd want to take every bit of it because Mark is tired of mowing it. So, all right.
About time, Mark, that we'll work in it.
Thank you, Ryan. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Don't take that, Mark.
What's next?
Mayor's report.
There, that's for it. Okay. As we've been talking about, we're still working on section 160, our traffic code. Don and I talked to Dave Watson today, and we're gonna set up a meeting with, Creighton Manning and Finelli to, work on all that road type traffic stuff and, next week. So Dave's on vacation this week, so, we talked about the colony
Did
thing.
Dave bill us for legal services for his?
He's employed. He just has he's still employed.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Still working with Capital Roots on some potential trees for the village. I told them to come down and look at the south end, and that we're moving along with that. And to see where they might be able to, where might be some good spots for some food trees once that's all done. That could be installed there after everything is complete. We talked a long time ago about replacing the roof above the firehouse stairwell and the far corner of the building. And one of the suggestions from the climate evaluation was to insulate it. And so back in 2024, they gave us a proposal that the climate smart people would approve, and we never moved forward with it. So anyway, the price went from 16.5, it's now 17.4, and I'd like to move forward with that because we need to use our climate smart money apparently by the end of, have it at least committed by the end of the year. So again, this will be 100% reimbursed by our climate smart award, and it's replacing the rubber roof and insulating it with foam boards so that it keeps the heat from going through the roof.
It'll stop.
And it, of course, it stops all the leaks because it's a new roof.
that's, you're talking about the far end
The
down at
far
that
end,
end.
where it'll just stop.
Where my, yeah, the staircase
Oh.
that always leaks.
Okay,
Where,
I'm just thinking $17,000 for a flat roof is pretty cheap, but yeah,
it's a section.
a section.
Skyway is really, they've done really good work with us. We had, Star come, and Star wanted like $300,000 and they wanted to replace the entire roof. And it doesn't need to be redone. Most of it, just this section. So I'd like to move forward and get this done. And again, it's going to be reimbursed by the, climate smart money. So I need a motion for allowing me to sign the contract and get Skyway Roofing to replace that roof.
I will make a motion for the mayor to sign a agreement with Skyway for the roof section of the firehouse.
Second, sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And it's a 20-year warranty and, et cetera, et cetera. So we've been having good work from Skyline. And plus they're right down the street. Mary Jane and I have been working on getting our audit for the year 23-24 finalized. That was when we kind of switched over our accounting system, our financial bank, our treasurer transitioned. We're getting close and we've made a lot of progress, including today. So I'm hoping that we can get to something.
You said in by beginning of the year, remember you were saying?
Okay. And then
What is that, 23, 24?
23-24, and then we're gonna move right into 24-25. And that one should be a lot easier. So
So are we past due on getting the 23-24 in? Do we have to have it in by certain?
It's already in.
That
What
one's
they're
in.
doing is they're just auditing what we put in,
Okay.
getting us better numbers.
the November edition of the Menands Monthly is being processed. If anyone wants an early version, Don has printed them out.
And they're gonna be on the website.
And it's gonna be on the website. There we go. We're working to finalize the reimbursement for our EV charger project. It seems like ages ago, but state process for getting reimbursement is a little excruciating. So Don and Mary Jane are working to get that paid for, so we get reimbursed for that. Over the weekend, DPW guys replaced a piece of the valve in the woods by the train tracks at the end of Clifford Road, but across the train tracks. And that helped the flow issue that we have on Elmwood. The Mailworks was concerned about the flow that they had from the fire hydrant, but this should now fix it because it's getting flow from both directions instead of one. And that will hopefully seal the deal for them to take possession of that building and move forward with their plans as they presented.
Was it broken or just positioned wrong?
The nut on top of the valve is held on by a bolt that was stripped.
Okay.
So it's supposed to be a square.
The nut, which
And-
was a miracle
Yeah.
and a huge win.
Yeah.
Massive. It's a 16-inch transmission line.
Who
Yeah.
figured it out? Who found it?
Well, Chip's guys came and dug it.
Oh, okay.
And we actually took the nut from the 10-inch valve that were removed from the top of Wolford.
Just a week ago.
We didn't even-
So it was really, our
Our
luck is never this good, but it was instead of a massive shutdown of that line and trying to replace that huge valve for
Huge.
$10,000, it was a part that we recycled. It's a good thing that we scrapped that part before we used it. So anyway, that was it. So hopefully their flow test tomorrow shows some good numbers. Don, Mary Jane and I sat down and talked with our healthcare insurance provider on, when was that? Friday. As I think I mentioned, CDPHP wants a 20.7% increase for the plan that we currently offer. So we're working on some potential solutions for our employees that are both better for the employee and more financially feasible for the village, as it looks like the healthcare consortium through Albany County is going to be a July 1 transition. So
Union, we just from CDHP and went of January into Anthem.
okay.
Which was the
Sounds
first.
good.
Which is, yeah,
Yeah, the
The
Anthem,
coverage is
Anthem is
basically
supposed,
the same.
is supposed to
but,
be the
yeah.
one, the thing, the consortium, the
Yeah,
correct.
Contractor.
Anthem is the
Administrator.
administrator, yes.
yeah.
So we've been looking, their suggestion is looking at some
They looked at
MVP.
but it looks more like MVPs.
MVP's got far better
It's only
programs.
6 months.
Correct, yeah. It's the constant,
Well, at the library, they got a 22.1% increase for the plan we have with CEPHP, but all the other ones are more expensive.
Even with the increase.
Yes.
I don't know, if somebody can figure out how they make those rates, they win the economics prize
I
for
want
Nobel.
a 20.2% rate. I would like a 2% raise, not a little 22.2% raise.
I did ask, so today, I did ask Jen Clement from Albany County, who's kind of spearheading the consortium effort. I told her 20.7%, and she goes, ouch. And I said, what is the rate change for your rates? And she said, it's not going to be anywhere near that.
I know,
So-
they said what it.
So if we were on the consortium plan, our rate increase would not be nearly the same. So that's the whole reason we're doing it. Don and I think, I don't know if we announced this already, the Providence Senior Living Community, released their information and their offering package. It looks beautiful. I think it'll be a great addition to the Village of Menands for seniors.
Do they have to come back to us for the?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Of course,
November,
they're selling things, but they don't have an approved site plan.
No, they,
November 3rd, they have to come back for
yeah, they're coming
stormwater.
back, because they have to be amended. We already
Amended.
gave them. site,
Right.
Yeah.
So they're gonna come back before but they're, it's gonna be.
So like these groups of houses used to be
They
individual.
were
Right.
individual and there were more.
Yes.
Now they want to come back and do less
Correct.
duplex.
Correct, yes. It's more efficient. So we talked about last time, doing the Creighton Manning, having Creighton Manning finish a speed study for the village. And so that we can potentially decrease the village speed limit to 25 miles an hour from 30. There was an article in the Times Union about, about the whole issue and who has reduced. Albany has, Watervliet has not, Troy has not. And so, just as I think I mentioned an example that,
Have they quoted in there why they haven't? I mean, like, we all talk about it because it's so expensive to have the study and all the stuff done, but like,
Carly from Watervliet said that it's on their radar, but not a priority.
Same with Troy as well.
Same with
Yeah.
Troy, and,
Connected did that.
Actually, I know they did.
yeah.
yeah,
Because it's a big
They
one.
did.
They did
I mean,
it.
Yeah.
that's probably why, it's just congestion,
yeah.
slower
And-
traffic, slower traffic patterns.
So you wouldn't think a 5 mile an hour decrease in the speed limit is much, but the numbers show it actually decreases the average speeds that people go by 6 miles an hour. And the difference between survivability of a major injury at 30 miles an hour is, or the what was I talking about?
Speed
Risk- the risk-
injuries.
The risk of injury is 40% at 30 miles an hour. Serious injury is 40% at 30 miles an hour, and is 10% or 10 point something percent at 25 miles an hour. So it makes a difference. So anyway, I would like, Mary Jane and I looked today in the budget, and we have where I want to use contingency, but the way to justify it is we have 30,000 in the court salaries. We have 30 plus $1,000 in what would have been Emily's salary as assistant court clerk, and then 30 something $1,000 in Sue Dubé's salary for this year in this budget. We're obviously not going to use those amounts. And then to balance that, so that's 36 or $66,000. Okay. If we're also saying we have $50,000 in revenue and fines, okay, who knows if we're going to get anywhere near that from the town of Colony if they ever get their act together and actually send us the money they owe us. But the net there is $16,000. So I'd like to commit to $15,000 to do this study, and then eventually, I think it'll show that we should reduce our speed through the village for safety to 25 miles an hour. So Craig Manning has before sent us the proposal. It's just basically a work order that they're going to create. And they're going to use some of our speed data from our speed trailers that they've done on different streets, and then put together a report that's as required by law for the village to create a local law and to reduce our speed. So, does anyone have any questions about it? It does not apply to obviously the 378 Van Rensselaer Boulevard, Broadway, or 787. So those are all state roads.
Have we looked into the cost of replacing all these signs once?
So we figured we have about this, let's just say that we have about, in total, about 60 signs, times $50, so you're about $3,000 to replace the signs. Anyone? Question?
No, I'm
Would-
just trying to wrap my head around with that we actually have 60 signs that say the speed limit is 30 miles an hour, because I don't know. Like, I know it's 30 on Broadway, but I don't know that I see a lot of signs
Would you
around
retain
town where they
There's like two
are.
on
30 on Ward's Lane?
Say again?
30 on Ward's Lane?
Yeah, so the Ward's Lane is one of the things that I think that they're gonna, you know, that there's a lot of variables with it. Like I can see both sides of Ward's Lane. It's much wider as a road than, you know, than some of, like, for instance, the streets in the south end of the village, you know, or in the heart of the village, you know, where we're already having some traffic issues with
It's a
parking,
truck route besides.
you know, and so I guess it's up to them to figure out what the
I had an
perfect.
argument with a garbage
But-
truck last week.
But on the flip side, I also say, you know, I think if we kept, for instance, wards at 30, I think we would also want to look at a school zone for
I was just gonna say, you're
that's-
gonna be
that
full
section.
zoned.
And Craig Manning's also putting together some ideas as to how we do that cheaply instead of
We can only do it if we get a camera, so we can get all the money from the school zone.
that actually requires an act of the legislature to
Ah.
allow you to do it.
And you know what? There's no way to do that.
I'm
I
being
mean, no,
facetious.
but I'm just telling you, I drive that on that road every day and that speed trailers, you know, and I hit the brake all the time.
It's very,
So it'll be very
it's actually difficult, especially coming down to stay at 30. It's difficult.
You're
Going
right.
up, yeah, it's what you gotta concentrate on it because your inclination is to speed up to go because you're going up the hill, put more power behind it, but coming down, it's very difficult.
Yeah, you speed up quick.
Yeah.
Like for Christmas tree when I go down.
Yes. I'm sure Don has got the high score there. So, and anyone might want to make a motion? Get the speed study done and see what it says. We've had a lot of.
Do they have to, anything about the transfers of the budget lines and all that, or is it just
We
to
don't have
make
to.
the,
It'll come out of, contingency, which we have. The salary lines are already set. So Mary Jane talked to, OCA, right? OSC.
Mhm.
I'm getting my O's all mixed up. So, and they said to leave those lines alone and don't touch them. They'll let the budget run out as it is and we'll just have overages there. But we know we're gonna have an overage.
like that? Okay.
Yeah.
I will make the motion so that Brian can sign the contract with Creighton Manning for this $15.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor? All right. Any opposed? All right, we'll get that done. All right, last meeting we talked with, we had a robust conversation about, what to do with parking, on Lions and so on. And so I had the DPW guys go out and measure some of the street widths, for some random streets, including South Lyons, North Lyons, Tillinghast, Wolford, Pauling, Glenwood, Sky Hollow Drive, Park Drive, and Brookside. And by far, the average width of the Lyons streets, South Lyons being the most narrow, North Lyons being second most narrow, it was clear that those are definitely the most narrow streets that we have. So, so I just wanted to share this with the board, not that we're gonna do anything with it, but tonight, but, it's given us some ideas that I'm gonna go back and talk to Craig Manning about trying to make a, you know, Don, did I give you one?
No,
No,
okay.
you know, to try and figure out exactly what we can do to make some changes to parking, et cetera, that everybody can live with. So anyway, that's that. There's a, open house for talking about the reimagining 787, at the Albany Capitol Center, October 21st from 4 to 7. That's tomorrow. If anyone wants to go. I'm tired of imagining it, so I'm gonna skip that one. I think I'm starting to nightmare about it because I've gone to it so many times, but we had the trunk or treat yesterday. It was successful and fun, and the weather just nice and breezy, and good time had by all. Posted some pictures. Thanks, Jason, for videoing it, etc. And I believe, oh, we need to, Creighton Manning has an open, work order, with the village for anything that's outside of specific projects. And, we had initially set up that amount at $5,000. And I think they're very close to using that. For instance, some of the stuff we just talked about with some of the parking stuff on, North Lyons and South Lyons, comes out of that. So they just want authorization for me to add another 5,000 to the, basically to the escrow account that we have on file with them. So that'll come out of, contracted services, maybe? Is that, or engineering? What do you think?
What's that for again?
So it's for engineering work that is not project specific that the board votes, you know, like any questions that we have, like for instance,
We did those on Kingston Street.
like we're looking at Kingston Street of some traffic calming solutions. So it's like little tiddly stuff that,
I would do that eventually.
okay. So I just need authorization to add another $5,000 to that, to their contract. They like to do everything by escrow rather than billing like Labella does. So
I'll make the motion to approve $5,000 to apply to a Creighton Manning fold out account.
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And then we have one matter for executive session. I think I'm gonna shut up and we're done. Trustee reports. Lisa.
The library is moving their afternoons to the second Wednesday, and they're making tea leaf stamp towels on November 12th. And I wish I didn't have something else going on that night. There we are.
What
That's
date?
it.
What are
November
tea,
12th,
what are tea leaves?
they're gonna stamp towels, like you're gonna make your own towel with painted stamps.
Okay.
So they're having craft afternoons for adults,
Nice.
adult crafts. They have plenty, Miss Sherry has lots of kids programs, but Sarah's trying for her hand at adult stuff. So November 12th from 4 to 6. And
Nice.
that's it.
Thank you. Nick.
The property at Davis Brothers, their garbage is not enclosed.
He is.
Davis Pines.
Yeah, Davis Frank. Yeah. Okay. Your spot. Yeah.
Calling him tomorrow. He's already on my list.
And the stop sign there as well.
Yes, that's exactly. And he's got a couple other issues he needs to fix that he had, he had some personal thing going on. So, but I, intend to call him tomorrow.
Oh. The 2 weeks ago, when everybody was here talking about the parking and the sight lines, the sight line at the end of North Lyons coming to Menand Road is it is really hard to see because of all of the burning bushes that are in the Darmeco's yard. Like you really got to make an effort to stop before the stop sign, before the line, to see cars coming down the street.
And I have that though too. I do agree. I almost think it should be a three-way stop.
Good idea.
The amount of children that come from Lyons, or even now, you know, we're back to where they all go to the top of the hill and fly down as fast as they can. I think people leaving church, if there's a lot of people in the park leaving the park, people trying to get to church, even at 8 o'clock during the week, I'd run out in the road. So I think that I'd like to look to see about making that a three-way.
It would be hard to, I mean, I don't know where you would put one going.
I know,
up the
I would have
street
to.
Because
yeah,
there's no place to put a stop sign.
I'd be on the side of the road.
on the right.
So we can
hand
get
side,
Lyle to
yeah,
cut
we'd
down
have
one
to
of his
figure it
bushes?
out, yeah. No, I think even without the bushes, I think the amount of kids that are in the neighborhood and the amount of traffic on electric scooters, regular scooters, bicycles, skateboards, all of the things. It's
Almost needs
definitely
a
one of
speed
the
bump
most
there, too.
dangerous.
Like right
Well, I
at the
mean,
stop
we're all
sign to
for
put
speed
not
bumps.
only a stop sign, but a
We're all
speed
for
bump.
speed
When
bumps.
they put it together,
I'm
but
all here for
Yeah.
speed bumps, but our DPW guys don't like the idea.
Speed
Okay.
bumps. I don't know.
That
Anyhow,
too.
Yeah.
sorry.
No problem.
No, I,
We'll look into that. That'll be something
But
Craig
maybe as they're
Manning can
doing
help.
this, the speed study.
Yeah, yeah,
looking
absolutely.
at,
'Cause
you
that's
know,
Craig
other
Manning
places,
anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Tim,
Yes, I had a request from the Pulaskis who live on the corner of Irving and Canal. They have a couple of autistic grandchildren, and they wanted to know if they could get children to play or slow children to, you know, let any people coming down Irving and in that area to slow down, to be aware of them.
so I
Okay.
have already talked to Mike about replacing the signs
Yeah.
on Irving. That's the stop sign needs to be redone, and there's a couple other signs. It's
So you'll
on.
have to look into that, because ironically, I think like the one that's here on Brookside, I think that was put up by residents. I don't think that was
They had-
initially like a village.
They
Like, I
had,
don't know if those
there's
are
been
village.
those little ones that people have been putting out. in
Yeah.
front. Yeah, she wants one on the
Yeah.
pole.
No, so
Yeah.
the one that's on the
Yeah.
pole on
Yeah.
Brookside,
Okay.
if you're driving up, I think many, many, many years ago was done by residents.
Uh-huh.
I don't know that it was a village.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's
Okay.
a fine or any kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
just a
It's
warning.
just a
Yeah.
warning sign.
It's a
Yeah, so
warning.
children at play is not, there's no fine associated
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
that, but it's
Or
it's a warning to,
Yeah, slow down,
Yeah,
children
correct.
play type. Do
Um,
we have any in stock?
no.
Don't know.
So, but it's on the board. It's on all of the signs looking right at, if you look right at the corner of Irving and Broadway, they all need to be redone. And so they're on the board and Mike's
Right.
in the garage. And now that we have one extra person, we'll hopefully have some more time to get to those.
And my other request was that residents on Cornell, that, you know, they were wondering why they didn't get paid when Menands Road got paved. And it is in rough shape if you take a look at it. And the storm drain still needs to be cleaned out. I mean, there was, you know, it'd been dry for a while. There's still water in that storm drain, and there's a bush or something growing inside it. And
If I have a sub truck, we'll do them all. Entire village, every season.
but what do you need for that?
The back truck.
A vac truck.
Oh, a vac truck.
He's kidding. He's not getting one.
Okay.
They're like $1 million bucks.
Yeah,
They're $1 million bucks.
I mean, it's just like it probably seeds that fell and grew and probably rooted down.
I thought, didn't we have, remember, who was it? KPI or Corbett was
Corbett did
doing
when
some
they did-
cleaning and
when
then they
did-
came and
remember
they
we
had some
to
extra
use the whole-
time.
we had to
Right.
use the whole day.
Right, we're on the
And
same
they
page.
did
But I
that,
will
and they-
say, when we had the incident where it turned out to be the pipe under the road, remember we thought the tracks were
Yeah.
just flooding and the pipe was the amount of brush that came
That
down.
flooded into
That
it?
came down that day. I mean,
Okay.
even on my side of the
May have-
road, I
may have
had like almost
re-
a bush of like stuff that flooded down that day, so.
It may have refilled it.
potentially, Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, Cornell, the paving of Cornell, and they'd also like to see that green patch gone in the
Rebuilt.
middle, you know.
That would solve a lot of.
It would solve a
problems.
lot of problems, especially with
Solve
plowing
many,
and.
Many problems.
They don't want
They
the
all
green,
have
they
big
don't want the
yards.
green, they
They
don't want
all
the
have
green there at
yards.
all.
No.
Not too bad.
No.
And they all wanna park on the road too.
Yeah.
It's a tiny little circle.
Yeah.
And the garbage truck crushes that green grass every time.
Yes.
Because there's.
What about just making it smaller and putting
Are
a
they
tree in the
parking on the
middle or
one
something?
side that they're supposed to
Yes,
park on?
they all park on one side. They all park
Then
on
we can
one side,
actually
yeah.
plow it too.
Yeah. That I've
Well-
heard from quite a few.
I mean, is
They'd
that a
like
green
to-
space? I don't understand.
How about,
And when
do
Mark was
people,
on vacation, it didn't get mowed, so.
do people park along the center
Yeah.
green thing?
No,
No.
No,
outside.
they park on the
they park
outside.
on the outside.
Okay,
Which they're allowed to do, but you can't.
But
get a
then
garbage
because of
truck
the
around
green
that.
But it gets run over and it looks crappy.
The road
because
is
the
narrow.
truck-
It's
Yeah.
not a circle, it's a.
It's over the years, it's gotten smaller and smaller.
so, all right, we'll have to,
But
Uh,
this is-
Right.
put on the radar maybe
Yeah.
to take that away.
I mean, they all have large yards, so none of their kids are, no one's
Yeah,
looking to play in that little. Plus the amount of people that just turn around in there for whatever reason.
Okay. Tim, anything else?
No, not this time.
Thanks, Tim. Molly?
Tonight, tomorrow, and Wednesday, again, they have basketball starting, recruiting for grades 3 through 8. They're still also looking for some coaches and some volunteers if anybody's interested in getting involved. This Thursday, again, 5:30 to 7 is the Hispanic Heritage Celebration. Everyone from the community is welcome. They're going to have the Alex Torres Orchestra there. There will be some food, but you're also welcome to bring your own food and just set up and have a picnic and hang out. And then next week they have their Red Ribbon Week planned, whole week of stuff going on, ending with the pumpkin run on Friday. So that's all I got.
Very nice. Don, didn't forget you this time.
I feel so honored. Just so everybody knows, hopefully, depending on the weather, we're gonna be moving storing stuff from downstairs to this new office over here. Kevin was given a fob, and Jason Lyon started today with DPW. And Matt, you worked with Matt on the garbage trucks, and Matt did an awesome job. That's all I got.
Super. Mary Jane, you want to tell us anything?
All set.
Okay. We have public comment. Go ahead, Bill.
All right. Just before the meeting, I spoke to John about the milk. What's that?
Go ahead.
As I said, just before the meeting begun, I spoke to John about the second men's room on the second floor, here in this building. As one soap dispenser, above the thing has got no soap in the dispenser, it's gonna need a new bag of soap. So I hope Don, you can get it.
Don, you on that?
I already called Chief.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't know.
All set.
Now, as items number 11, 14, I'd like to thank the Menands PDW guys for doing those things. Items number 7 and 15, I thank you for getting some of those things done, but unfortunately, number 7. Now, those 7 markers that have been replaced with the ones with white squares. They're on Canal Street, Market Road, and Broadway Junction, where the traffic lights are. Unfortunately, 4 out of 7 of those markers with the white square got busted. Now, how and why they got busted, I got no idea, but they're gonna need to get replaced again. Now, last month, the keys of apartment 4 at 7 McDonald Circle, which is below my apartment, were left on the lock of the apartment. So a few hours later, they were still there, so I knocked on the door of apartment 4. And I told the tenant that she left the keys on the door of her apartment. So she appreciated what I done. I done that because we don't want any burglaries or any crimes at Menands Gardens apartment. There's enough crime going on in this world as it is. Number 6, while I was at Gas Smith Park, and I observed the car keys were being left on top of the red car, so I asked the people in the Pavilion building who owns the red car, keys in the red car. The woman informed me she owns the red car. And even though I didn't want to say nothing to her about parking in that fire lane, because I didn't want any problems.
Yeah.
Confrontation, but she mentioned it to me. So she realized that. So I told her, you can't park in required length of the sign saying you can't do it. That's one of the rules and regulations, New York State traffic laws and safety. And I told her she should never leave her cars outside her park because it's hard to have in the snow. So she greatly appreciated my concern.
Okay.
And I like to, if we're gonna have our village picnic, in August of every year, I think we'd be better off to have the community night event of August of each year to be held at the farmer's market. That again is month. Most people I spoke to says they agree with me. The village picnic, with the community night should be held at the farmer's market. There's more space, for one thing, and plenty of places to park.
It's so, yeah, the problem is the height of the pavilion doesn't work with some of the things that we have there, but we use it as a backup location, so.
So that's why I would like the village board to vote to have our community night event in August of each year to be held at the Menands Farmers Market, not the Smith. So that's all I got to say, and I thank you for letting me speak on an important issue.
Thanks, Bill.
You're welcome.
Steve, anything? Come on, give me something.
Sidewalks are so slippery in the rain.
Don will get right
I
on
call him again.
Colt and tell him he's, how hard can it be to,
Oh yeah,
Send-
Don, was there a response from the rail about the train last week?
I talked to, Mike Tracy, who's the cop, and he was going to remind them that they're not supposed to, and he thinks that it was just a new engineer and didn't see us. I don't know, he was
having a great time.
Yep.
4 a.m.
he was probably
Laying in.
pissed.
I mean, not like every stop and in between every
Just
stop.
leaned
Like
on
it
it?
wasn't just
Leaned on
like the normal, and it was.
He was pissed off. He was at work at 4 a.m.
Oh, the street lights
So
are
was
still
I
out
when
down
my
there.
6-year-old was wide awake at 4 a.m.
God bless you.
Stop by Burger King.
I emailed Colony, but I will tell him again.
You must just love to send those emails.
They love to receive them.
I guess, because they don't do anything about it.
Anyone else? Diane.
I totally disagree with hoping the community night house park, our beautiful park.
Yeah.
When it rains,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah. Right. It's just,
That's the
yeah,
part that-
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. It's just such a big event that it's almost too big to, to fit. So anyway. Guys, anything in the back? You're good. Okay.
I do.
I'm not speaking on behalf of DPW, I'm not in charge or anything, but as a worker, we have been going out and trimming trees for sightline problems. And in the winter, driving the plows,
Just take my
frozen
right down.
branches break
Just take it.
our meters. So, I mean, we have done dozens and dozens and dozens of spots, and we do it with care. You don't damage the tree. And, I got one resident get irate at me.
Yeah.
Throwing me vulgarities, which is fine. I'm not afraid of that. But just like the village to know that we're not out vandalizing trees. This is all for public safety. If you drive a Ward's Lane on the school side between the apartments and the school, we took care of that sidewalk, which is all overgrown. It's just for everyone's safety.
Mhm.
So
Mine
don't
really
take it
needs to
personal.
be
If
done
you come to
again,
your house,
and or take
my
it.
house
The
included,
school
I have a stop
bus
sign on Hudson,
blows through it.
and the sight line going up Wolford was horrible.
Yeah.
Took a ton of my trees, backed them up, because it's for the greater good, so that's why we're doing it.
So Capital Roots, and when we start talking about putting trees back,
Right.
they're going to be very involved with
Yeah, and this is.
figuring out what the
we're
right
cutting
type
down,
of
we're
trees
just
are,
pruning them,
so that,
which
you know.
every resident should do.
Are people saying that you're cutting the trees down?
No,
Oh, okay.
we just have one irate
Yes.
resident.
I give you
Fine,
full
that's fine.
permission. Just
I
prune
just
it
want
as
everyone to
much
know
as
that
you
we're not on a mission to ruin everybody's day. We do what we can.
want.
Yeah.
Actually,
Those
just
are
running
reasons.
into it.
No other.
I have a question. That, I don't know, maybe you can answer, or you can answer. Lauren Carton's house where she owns that lot, or she did, now the property is sold. The shrubbery is so overgrown that now you have cones up can't use the sidewalk. What is there?
So there was a major issue there with the sewer line. They had to jet the sewer line, and there's some, from what I remember from being there, standing over a full sewer line. There's some cracks there where the pipe is, I think, like broken.
Not because.
That's because it's because of the sewer line, that's why the cones are so bad.
So we had to remove some trees in order to get access because the trees had grown on top of where the sewer line runs. So we're basically, all of that is waiting until the replacement crew gets to it and eventually has to abandon that sewer line. That sewer line is going now in the road. So there was no point in touching anything there until the street crew gets there.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't trim those shrubs.
Oh, we can trim them back.
Oh, yeah, that could,
That's what we're in the process of doing, and that's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who owns that or whatever, but
It's whoever bought.
correct me if I'm wrong, Mayor, if it's impeding the sidewalk or the
that's good.
road,
You
can
could,
take
yeah,
it.
yeah.
we're licensed to take it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta tell me.
Start cutting.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
We're back in this
That's
week.
why I said.
Don bought them a new,
I think, somebody walking a stroller.
a new pole saw.
Yeah. Actually, Mike bought it,
Wow.
I just dropped off. Paul Harbor has a question.
Go ahead, Paul.
Is he still muted? We've muted him a bunch of times.
I will keep it kept talking. Paul,
He's muted. Unmute.
Are you there?
we're
There we
now.
go.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a minute, Paul. Unmute yourself, Paul. There you go. You're all set.
Okay. A couple of questions about blacktop. They tried to repair the rumble strip on Brookside. But either they ran out of blacktop or they just were trying to get rid of some old blacktop. Because all it is just like a 2-foot spot, then it's 10 foot of rumble strip, a 2-foot spot, 10 foot of rumble strip. So my fear is that the plow is just going to wipe that out because it's not one smooth surface all the way down the side of the road. That's something that Mike can look at. My other question was about the roof on the firehouse that you're talking about, replacing a section.
Yes.
Is the rest of the roof under warranty?
Warranty, no, but when they looked at it, it was not worth what we initially had. So let me start over. There's no real insulation in the roof of this building, and of the firehouse section of the building. And so one of the suggestions that was recommended through the energy audit was to add insulation. And because it's a flat roof, the only way to add insulation would be to rip up the current roof, put down that thick foam board, like kickboard type stuff.
Yeah.
And then put a new rubber roof on top of it. But because the current roof is not needing replacement, it just wasn't smart to spend the money to replace the roof to get the energy efficiency when the roof doesn't need to be replaced. The section over the stairwell needs to be replaced because it's leaking. So that's the section that we're going to both replace the roof to stop it from leaking, but also add the insulation foam so that the entire project gets paid for as an energy item rather than a maintenance item.
Okay. And my only concern was that if the rest of it was under warranty, you would void the warranty by cutting a section of it out. And
Yeah, so it's a fully separated section because there's different wall sections because it's a stairwell. So it's like
Okay.
it's not what's it called?
A knee wall?
Yeah,
Knee wall,
hip
yeah.
wall, knee wall, whatever. It's a completely independent section.
Okay. All right. And have you guys been in contact with the state at all about Broadway with the blacktop? Seeing how you come out, you leave Menands, you go into North Albany, it's beautiful blacktop. You drive north, you leave Menands, you get to Watervliet, it's beautiful blacktop. It's like they don't like us.
No,
I mean, it is not beautiful blacktop in Watervliet.
Right.
but the problem is that the city owns Broadway at the Broadway line forward, and the city replaced that.
Yeah, that was a city project. That wasn't the state.
Okay,
Broadway at the Albany line to the Waterbury line is state.
It's city.
yeah,
No,
so
so
can we
No,
put
yeah,
any pressure?
Right.
we-
Yeah.
Can we put any pressure on the state to do that? Cause it's really extremely a hazard now. And if it goes through another winter, it's gonna be undrivable in the spring.
Yeah, so that's why what was it, last week?
Yeah,
We
last
did the,
meeting, 2 weeks ago.
last meeting, we finalized the Route 32 corridor study. Is it on the website? And so the repaving is part of that, the next step of that plan is to get funding in order to redo the road.
Okay, so is that plan gonna happen in our lifetime?
Yeah.
Good question. I'm really
Well, it's
hoping.
gonna happen. The other thing too, Paul, is that we spoke, Mike and I, had a conversation with the resident engineer for this area. And he has been trying with his uppers to get that repaved, do something with it.
Okay. All right, that's it for me. Thanks.
Thanks, Paul. Anyone else online? Okay, so again, we have one item for executive session. So we need a motion to go into executive session, for a personnel matter.
I'll make a motion.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Have a good night, Lisa.
See you. I'm sorry.
My hand hurts.
I'm sorry.
All right, Bill.
See you in the morning.
Have a good
Give
one.
me one of these. All
Have a
right.
good day.
All right,
Once
thank
it
you.
changes, it gets colder out, you know?
We have been cold and flu
Germs, all
season
that
there,
good
so
stuff.
I'm gonna